Hey folks, it's Matt once again, and welcome back to another video. And this is for another film that Classic Rocker sent me. Last of two films I'm going to be reviewing, not only today, but of Classic Rocker stuff. And granted, there are about three other films I haven't reviewed that Classic Rocker sent me, but that's because one is Johnny 2.0, which is a film with Jeff Fahey that I just was bored to tears and had nothing to say about it. One was 2019 After the Fall of New York, that again was, I thought, really shitty, but it was just very forgettable as well. And then one was a Stallone film called Victory, which I already had, but I'm gonna wait on that until I do maybe like a Stallone marathon or such. But one of the films he had sent me is Band of the Hand. Violent criminals no prison can cure. Now they've been put back on the streets, licensed to kill, criminal against criminal. This time, they're on our side. Band of the Hand. And I was really surprised by this movie. I really liked this film. It's produced by Michael Mann. From reading up on it, apparently this was supposed to be a TV pilot, and it failed, so it became a movie. I'll say right now, it didn't look like a TV pilot. It looked like a movie from the start. And I guess if it was a TV show or a failed, hell, I would have seen the TV show if it had this cast. But it definitely didn't look like a failed TV pilot turned into a movie. It looked like a movie from the beginning. But yeah, it was produced by Michael Mann, and maybe that's why. Directed by Paul Michael Glaser, same guy who directed The Running Man. Of course, Paul Michael Glaser from Starsky and Hutch. But to be honest, I remember more for directing The Running Man, which I love to death. And actually, the title track is by Bob Dylan. Yeah, Bob Dylan does the title track, Band of the Hand. Stars Stephen Lane, which usually I'm not a big fan of this actor, but I thought he did a really good job here. And to be honest, I think this is the best film I've seen with him. I don't know, maybe he's done like small parts in movies I really enjoy, but at a big capacity, because I love The Hard Way, and he's the villain The Hard Way. But I thought he was the weakest point in The Hard Way because I thought he was a really over the top, silly bad guy. See, Stephen Lane, a problem I have often with him, like in The Hard Way, like in Avatar, is that he really goes over the top to the point it's silly and it's goofy and it just doesn't work. But oh yeah, I forgot he was in Manhunter. That's right. But I thought he did a really good job in this film because he was not over the top at all. He was not over the top. He was not overdoing it. He was very much subdued. And he plays the character of Joe, who was a Vietnam vet. He was in the Marines, and back in the day he had lost all of his team members, and he wants to help troubled teens. And he doesn't come in the film till a little bit later on, but again, I thought Stephen Lane did a really good job. He was very subdued. A lot of times he's a man of few words, but when he says something, it's for a point. And he was the type of guy who, okay, this is a guy I could follow. This is a guy who, if he's a leader, I could follow. And I give props to Stephen Lane. To me, this is the best role I've seen him in. I think this is his best role, at least I've seen him in. I thought he did a really good job. And pretty much the story, it's a group of juvenile delinquents who they're going to be prosecuted, and they get put into this program led by Joe, Stephen Lane, in which these five kids are thrown into the Everglades and they have to learn to survive in this swamp and how to work together. And like the first half of the film is pretty much that, them trying to survive in the swamps with Stephen Lane, bonding with each other, working together. And the five guys, which I like these five guys. And that's part of the reason why I like the film is I like these guys. Michael Carmine, who was in Leviathan, leader of the Homeboys of Miami and main rival of Leon, which I'll get to, he's one of the other guys. arrested for aggravated assault and armed robbery and sentenced to 3 years in prison. I thought Michael Carmine did a good job. I really liked him. It's too bad he passed away too early, in my opinion, because I remember him from Batteries Not Included and Leviathan and now this film. I like to say you also have Leon, who was in Cliffhanger. Guy who had the fight with Stallone. Stallone picks him up. That's Leon. I believe he was also in Cool Runnings. He's in this film as Moz, aka Warlord. He had a big rival with Michael Carmine's character, and they're even trying to fight each other and almost try to kill each other. I think throughout the film they learn to get along with each other, sort of become friends. You also have John Cameron Mitchell as James Lee Methuen, aka Crazy. Pretty much let's see if he's on here. No, they don't really show him much on this disc. Pretty much sort of the crazy kid for the most part. He's pretty mute. Doesn't really say anything for the most part. And he blew up a building and he shot his dad, who was beating the shit out of the mom. So he comes up and shoots him. And he was like sentenced to 10 years. Daniel Quinn as Carlos, aka the Lover, who was arrested for drug trafficking and weapons possession. He's kind of the guy who you could tell that if something happens to Stephen Lane, he'd be the guy who'd be the leader. Has a girlfriend, actually played by Lauren Holly. And he's sort of the guy that sort of gets into our second half of the film because he kind of knows our bad guy for the second half of the film. Played by James Remar, actually, from 48 Hours and tons of other movies, James Remar. Al Shannon as Dorsey, aka Rattler, arrested for Grand Theft Auto multiple times. Also, always tries to escape. This guy is sort of guy who is a drifter, and he never really stayed with a group. And there's even a point where he says he's given some money, and he's like, "Well, how do you know I won't just leave and escape?" And Stephen Lane's like, "I don't." So the fact that usually it's just about himself, but he sort of becomes part of this family. And yeah, those are the five guys. Al Shannon, Danny Quinn, John Cameron Mitchell, Leon, and Michael Carmine. I thought they did a great job. It was nice seeing them. You know, these guys who were fresh out of the urban city trying to survive in the Everglades. Which is weird because I'm going to sound incredibly stupid, but I think in one moment they find like a panther or something, and then another, a bear. I just never thought a bear or a panther was in the Everglades. And I'm like, are they in the Everglades? I mean, I didn't know those were in the Everglades. I mean, maybe it shows how stupid I am. But I'm like, Everglades, that's like around Florida, and I'm like, I don't know, I just didn't picture bear or like a panther. Alligators I can picture. Those I didn't picture, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm just an idiot. But pretty much the first half of the film is them bonding with each other and uh, fucking with each other, being taught how to survive, being taught how to try to kill his boar, and I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the actors. I enjoyed the rapport some of these guys had with each other. These different personalities. Again, I thought Stephen Lane did a good job. The environment it did look like they were in the Everglades, and I don't know. I never got bored with it. I'm interested to see what would happen next. And pretty much they pass, and they find out they're the only ones who have passed. They're the only ones who have graduated. I like the fact that the sort of by this point they have like paint on them, and they got like spears, and they get to the place, and it's just like a festival where there's like a buffet of like chicken. They come up and they're grabbing chicken, and it's like the way they look, and then they're just grabbing chicken. And then they find Stephen Lane. And I like Stephen Lane because he's not really a mean guy at all in this film. You can tell that he really does care for these kids, and he really wants this program to work, and he really wants to teach these guys to live. And you get a little backstory that a program he had done before, the kids had just gone right back to the streets, or they had died from a robbery, And he has a good scene later on where he talks about how, he had failed them and he doesn't want to fail these guys. Again, I thought Stephen Lane did a good job. I really liked his character. And again, I thought the other five guys, they were good as well. And you have Lauren Holly, you have James Remar, you have Laurence Fishburne, at this time Larry Fishburne, as sort of a pimp. Because pretty much when they graduate, they go to Miami and they slowly rebuild this building and this neighborhood and fix it up. And they kick out some of these drug dealers that are in there. And that leads to Larry Fishburne. He kind of runs the area. He's like the big pimp. And get into a fight with there. You have Stephen Lane kicks some ass. Definitely fucks up Larry Fishburne at one point. And then, well, I'm getting more into spoilers, so if you don't want to hear any more spoilers, you've been warned. Pretty much Stephen Lane shoots Laurence Fishburne, but he shoots him as well, and Stephen Lane gets killed, which you just see coming because it's like, okay, you kind of probably know the fact that these kids are going to have to be on their own, so that means Stephen Lane has to be out of the way. And I don't see them doing the thing where he's in the hospital, so they're going to have him get killed. And it happens. I'm like, I kind of saw that coming. At first, they don't know what to do, so they split up. But then ultimately, they come back to that house, and they find out that Laurence Fishburne's character was working for James Remar, which the Daniel Quinn character knew. And when I say Daniel Quinn, it's not the guy from Standard Cop. That's another Daniel Quinn. I believe his name is Daniel Quinn. Real quick, I just want to check something real quick before I'm talking shit. Just want to check something real quick. Yeah, it's not the Daniel Quinn. I mean, I knew it's not. I want to make sure it was the right name. But yeah, when I say Daniel Quinn, it's not the Daniel Quinn from Standard Cop. It's a different Daniel Quinn. I just hear it called Danny Quinn. It's a different guy, not the guy from Standard Cop. But pretty much they realized that it's the guy that he knew, James Remar's character. And it's like, we need to take this guy out too, because ultimately he's the one who killed Stephen Lane. And they talk about, and the band of the hand is something that Stephen Lane had come up with, how you're all a unit, you're all fingers of a hand, and it's something that he had done with his buddies in Vietnam. I like the one where they all sort of have this connection with each other, and they go off and they plan to kick this drug dealer's ass at this was it a manufacturing plant? Sort of facility, which actually has like this big minigun mounted. And pretty much they all do their jobs and they help each other out, and they, Lauren Holly, who had been raped by James Remar, pretty much fucks him up with a shotgun, and they all do their job and they all do what they have to, and they blow up the facility and they take care of business, and they get in their vehicle and they get out. And one song that appears during the film that I didn't quite expect is Prince's "Let's Go Crazy, Let's Go Nuts." Like, I didn't expect that song to play in this movie. I don't know why, but I don't know. I'm watching Band of the Hand, and I don't know why. I just not expecting Prince's "Let's Go Crazy." And this is a film that I didn't really know much about when it was sent to me. I'm like, Band of the Hand. And for a split second, I got confused with And the Band Played On, which is about AIDS. So, completely different movies. I'm like, Band of the Hand? What the hell is Band of the Hand? But, and I will say the promotion pretty much sucks because the posters don't look that great. Like, if I put an image for this film, it's not going to be a great image because it doesn't really look that appealing. It looks like one poster has like a purple pink skyline, and the clothes they wear is not really great for the cover. But this is kind of like I mean, you've seen this film where kids who are delinquents and they sort of become good guys. I think this is done much better than the Mod Squad movie. I hated the Mod Squad movie with Omar Epps and Giovanni Ribisi. I thought that was a boring ass movie. But yeah, unfortunately, this film did not do well either, and that's sad. I think also like it has a soundtrack, maybe because Michael Mann was involved. It has a soundtrack like, hey, there's some actually songs like Prince's "Let's Go Crazy." You have a Bob Dylan song. I think you have that song like "Fix These Broken Wings." Da, 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 da. Performed by, let's see, who did that song, Broken Wings? Mr. You have Turn It On by the Reds, Mission by the Reds, Hold On by the Reds, Waiting for You by the Reds. Jesus, most of it's the Reds. I don't even know who the fuck the Reds are. But yeah, Let's Go Crazy by Prince and the Revolution, Band of the Hand by Bob Dylan with the Heartbreakers. Yeah, Band of the Hand I really enjoyed. I thought it was an entertaining film. I liked the cast of the five youths. I liked Stephen Lane and them trying to survive in the Everglades. I bought that they bonded together. That's one thing with these movies. I bought that. Some of these movies you don't buy it. And the second half of the film, they're still, inexperienced, so they're not going to be professional wise at the end of the film. But I still thought they handled their own. This is other stuff. This is little stuff that I'm kind of like. For example, this one character was arrested for Grand Theft Auto. I thought that would be come into play that he would have to steal some cars to do some stuff, or um, the third act. I would like a couple characters. Would like to see like Michael Carmine and Leon do a little bit more in the third act, but it's pretty much them doing equal amounts. But I would like to see Leon and Michael Carmine do a little bit more. Maybe them having to work together a little bit more and do some stuff. But it's like little nitpicks. But I enjoyed Band in the Hand. I thought it was an entertaining film. I thought it was a film that worked well for what it was trying to do. And I even think my friends are not really big fans of this movie. I know my friend Mike thought it was meh, and I'm not sure. I don't think Effrey cared for the film. I could be certainly wrong. But yeah, I really enjoyed the film. I thought this was a good flick, and I think at the idea, and if I can find a trailer for it, if anything appeals to you, give it a look. I think this is an underrated movie. I'll say right there, Band in the Hand is an underrated film, along with the next film I'm going to reviewing called Run. So classic rocker, which I know he's watching, but he gets very busy, and that's understandable. Life is life. It gets very busy. These are the last two films I'm reviewing of his. I just want to thank him for all the stuff he said to me. It's been very kind of him to do so. I did Sorry About Johnny 2.0 in 2019. It's just, those movies are so boring that I saw them, but it was just really forgettable. I don't remember anything about them. And I wanted to end it on two really good ones, and these are two really good ones. So next up, you'll see a review of Run. But Band of the Hand, I think it's a very solid movie. Very good film. Underrated movie, along with Run. I'll probably put that in the title, both of them underrated. But, because no one really talks about these films. And that's kind of what I like. I like talking about films that I feel are underrated and no one talks about. But either way, thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.